Over the years of making music, I've remade countless of Kanye's songs. I've listened to all of his music and I studied every interview he ever had about sampling. So today, I've gathered every last bit of knowledge I've got and chose 3 absolutely best sampling lessons I've learned from Kanye. Starting with the first one, don't make type beats. So what do I mean by don't make type beats? I feel like nowadays, most advice is geared towards type beats. So for example, how to make a Kanye West type beat or how to make a whatever type beat. And don't get me wrong, I've definitely made similar videos on how to sample like Kanye and stuff like that. But the most important piece of advice I've learned from Kanye is to not make just beats. Make actual songs. So when you're starting to make a beat, don't be like, I want to make a Kanye West type beat. More so think about what you want to represent with the song that you're making. Over the years of making music, I found out that music comes from 3 sources. 1 is emotions or feelings, 2 is experiences or views, and 3 is stories. That's usually where I found most music comes from. So do not think about what type beat you want to make. Actually think what you want to represent with your song. Okay, so let's actually take a look at the song I will be making today. And so I'm going to be sampling this song from our weekly samples on Sample Academy. It's called Counting on You and it sounds like this. And so I sampled this exact part. And so fun fact, I actually found this sample because I was making a remake of Kanye West Never Let Me Down. And there he samples this song called Maybe It's the Power of Love. And I actually sampled the exact same band. And so I warped the sample to the tempo, I sped it down a little bit, pitched it up for semitones and chopped it up like this. Okay, for now, I'm gonna leave my sample like this. This is actually not everything I've done with the sample because later on I had to come back to this sample and fix it up a little bit and do some manipulation with it because it actually wasn't fitting my beat perfectly, but we're gonna talk about that in lesson number 2. So next up, I grabbed this bass and I actually put an ALA2A compressor on it to thicken it up a little bit and use this EQ to cut out all the high end from it. Now, I actually kind of struggled with the pattern of the bass here because I could not just figure out the root notes of the sample. I have no clue why that was, but ultimately this is what I've got and it fits quite nicely. Right now it's a little bit messy with our sample, so let's go to the sample and add a little bit of processing to it. So for now, I'm just gonna add this EQ to tame the frequencies of the sample a little bit. And so with that done, we can actually move on to building out the chords of our loop. And so for the chords, I've actually grabbed my favorite synth lately, which is the Juno 6. And what I did with it is I literally went here and I did the new preset and it sets it to the default. And let's just listen to the sound of that. It sounds super nice. And so I'm literally just gonna take the bass line and build down my chords on top of that. And so here are the chords I built. It's all pretty standard chords except this one where we have just this one note that's kind of off key, but it just sounds better to me that way. So that's how I'm gonna leave it. And all of this is gonna sound like this. And so you can actually hear that all of this, the entire beat starts to get a little bit crowdy. And that leads us to our lesson number 2, which is be unapologetic about your music. And so actually when I was making this beat, I kind of had this moment of weakness here because I didn't actually like the way it was going. I already could see the problem with it, that it was getting way too crowded, and I haven't even added drums and a melody yet. But in my mind, I had this vision of this beat and I really wanted to finish it. So that's where being unapologetic about your music comes in. The thing with being unapologetic about your music is sometimes you might make a beat and you think that it's a great beat. You go to your friends, you want to share it with them, you play it to them, and they say that it's bad. So what should you do now? Should you keep working on the beat or should you just abandon it? And so being unapologetic about your music means that you're the only one who can hear the full idea and the full vision of the beat. And so if you're sure about it, and you know that it's gonna sound great, then I want you to keep on working and chiseling away at that beat until it sounds the way you want it to. Okay, let's go back to the beat. Again, here we have this problem that simply it's getting way too crowded. So when working on it, I've realized that this sample, I actually don't need all of it. To be honest, the only thing that I want from it is the vocals. So I just ran it through a stem splitter. I just replaced it with just the vocal stem. And in the earlier point, I said that we're gonna talk about the rest of the processing that I did with the sample. So that's what we're gonna talk about now. And what I did with it is I just turned it up by 5 dB, added this compressor to even the vocals out even more. I added a phaser to make this kind of detuned sound with it. This reverb, because I thought that the vocals were a little too dry. I actually added this utility where it just has this automation of our vocals and they just constantly pan between the left and the right here. This delay, so the sample is a little bit more pushed back. And then again, we just keep this EQ that we had earlier. And now all of this is gonna sound like this. And all of a sudden we have all the space in the beat that we would actually need. So next up what I did is I actually found this drum break on Splice. To be honest, I have no clue what the name of it is because I just recorded it straight into my DAW, but it sounds like this. So it already sounds amazing, but I think it's a little bit too thick for a section like a verse. So I actually went ahead and made my own drums. So for that, I grabbed this kick, this snare, this hi-hat, and this breath. So you probably can recognize these sounds from Kanye West's Yeezus, because that's actually where they came from. And I just made this pattern with them following the drum break that we had before. One thing I actually also did with them is I added this analog clip and this LA2A just to distort them a little bit and bring out the warmth out of them. So you can just see that with the drums, instead of the drum break, the overall loop just has more space and is not as crowded, which is gonna let me bring on my secret weapon, which I will talk about after lesson number 3. And lesson number 3 is just a quote from Kanye West. That's make 5 beats a day for 3 summers. And to be honest, if you're gonna learn one thing from Kanye, this should be the thing that you're gonna learn, because no matter where you are in your music journey, there's always just one way to improve at making music, and that's just make music. So the more music you make, the better you will become. And it's just a loop. You make more music, you get better, and so on and so on and so on. Okay, so let's talk about my secret weapon. And so my secret weapon is this nylon guitar that sounds like this. But you might be thinking to yourself that this kind of doesn't fit the beat really all that well. Well, wait until I add this guitar rig 7, which is gonna make it sound like this. So as you can hear it, it's really distorted and it's really full, but that's actually perfect for me. And so I used it to make this pattern, and here's how that's gonna sound. And in my opinion, it just fits perfectly the vibe of the beat. And so next up, just to finish this beat off, I grabbed these strings. And for the chords I used, I just copied them from our Juno 6. I just took the middle note of the chord and pitched it up an octave. And lastly, I just grabbed this analog lap synth and made this really simple pattern at the end of the song, just to add a little bit of detail to the entire song. And so if you want to learn how to sample, then check out Sample Academy. It's first link in the description. And if you join, I promise to give you all the resources and all the skills I have to help you learn how to produce and how to sample. And so we currently have a special offer for the 10 next members that join. So just go check it out. It's first link in the description. And that's actually everything for this beat. If we grab all of this and arrange it all out, here is how it's going to sound.